All right, sorry. Uh, Mike. All right, Mike. Tom McClellan. uh, good one, man. That's funny. Uh, can you hear me? I just restarted the computer, and I'm hoping it works out that I can be heard. Oh my god, I can't see the mic moving. This is crazy. Oh my god, unbelievable. I might have to start this again. Can I get this? I just restarted the computer to make sure it would have problems, and can't get this thing to work. Oh, you hear fine. Great, great. I have a little mic thing that's not moving, so I was like, it's not working. Okay, good. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yay! Sound is good. Miracles happen. Hooray! Chris, you're in a good comedic mood today, Mike. Thanks for showing up with that. I appreciate it. Right? What the? Alan, it's crazy, right? They're like, uh-oh, there's this many of us, and they're like crazy nervous. I love it. Like, no, their comedy's too good. They know too much, and they're laughing, and they're making good jokes. This isn't working at all. Make it blog it again. So good. Anyway, listen. God bless you all in the name of Jesus Christ, right? Okay, here we go. I had a name for this video that I was like, in the loop, stay in the loop. That's the saying, is it? Stay in the loop. Can you can't I can't make this up, I can't. Like it's everywhere, and I would say, no one notices, and then it's like, wait a second, then it's like, it's crazy. Circle back, boom, right? Recycle, right? Recycle it. So it's all around us. Anything on your mind, I'm here to help. Like there's so few like humans that are interested in this. It's really mind-boggling, isn't it? I am going to, so whatever's on your mind, whatever questions, all that stuff, that's the most important thing. I'm here to serve everyone, including them. I pray for them, earn your feathers and wings if I'm in front of them. And, but, the ones that are going to do the distance and make it to God instead of heaven to hell only, another duality, actually get to God are so few. But that's the only reason for any life, for existence, for reality, for this world of duality. There's no other reason for it. Everybody else's reasons for reality is just made up nonsense. You don't feel any question. No, but if they come up, just don't. I just want to say, just any thoughts, questions, experiences, blah blah blah. Just throw them in. That's what I'm here for. Otherwise, I'm going to go into some stuff that I thought you might find useful. So I go to the north end of the jetty, Tacoma Beach, which is an inlet into the intercoastal waterway and out to the Gulf. I'm sure Mike knows it. And there's a little place to eat there. The food always is horrible, but now it's actually okay, but like way overpriced, which is better than food you can't eat, I guess. I got 2 veggie tacos. My girl was like, take me out to eat. I was like, and we're going here. She loves it there. Not the food, but the place. The view is better than anywhere. So, and I had to go park, to be there. And so it's this, like, how to describe it, like the little cafe, bathroom place is sort of like off the inlet a little bit. Excuse me. And so, but not, I mean, a couple of parking spaces off it, stuff like that. That's the parking lot. And it's like, there's a little park there and stuff. Mike does, but you get a view on the water. And it's a beautiful day. And there are a bunch of people there. So there was one parking space left. Um, two. There were two parking spaces left. By a bubble, I think. Somebody's got a great sense of humor. Thank you. So all the parking spaces were taken up. There are people fishing there and hanging out. Just a perfect day. Everybody's chilling, right? And there are two spaces left that are next to each other, like overlooking the water right there. You know what I mean? And so I pull in straight forward with my van, and then I'm like, I had been down at the beach anyway, like getting some exercise and stuff. And my girl's like, "You're gonna meet me there, and you're gonna get lunch." I'm like, "All right." And so I parked there, and I'm gonna, meet her over there. I walked over. She parked in a different spot, and I'm just gonna go eat, which we hang out and do. And in the meantime, I watch that the last space, the last parking space, this dude backs in with a pickup truck and uh like one of those bed covers, and he starts setting up. And he has so many flags, like Trump, USA, Israel, just giant ones. And I can't make this up. They put up a giant umbrella. Now, my van is parking, looking at the water and stuff like that. I was gonna be like, have a bite with my girl. I was gonna go read some Bear Baba and then go. So I watched them set up, and he, he's drawn a crowd. By the time I've done it, like there are easily 10 flags. I don't even know how many, but they're all like, I have to find the guy again because I was like, how do you attach them to your vehicle? That was pretty clever. I wasn't paying attention to that. But anyway, I'm sure I'll see him again. He's local. He knew who I was and stuff. So, and he was parked next to some other homies I know from the drum circle. They were down there, and then, but right next to him was this couple who was there, and they had already gotten into it. I was just watching during eating. I was watching all this, and so he sets up the flags on his vehicle and stuff like that. And they're all over it. They're giant wave. It's a little breezy, so they're like, "What?" He's the focal point now in the parking lot, and in front of my van, right, which is there's just a narrow strip of land before the edge of the water, the canal there, the inlet there, which is lined with brimstone perfectly. That the holy has holes in it, like pock holes in it, like it was liquorated, and now it's obviously this is brimstone. The whole inlet's uh, lined with it, and it's beautiful. So you can sit there and chill out and all that stuff. It's a great spot. And they set up a giant umbrella in front of my van, like in that space, and it's a rainbow umbrella. So I can't see out of my van, right? And so I have lunch and stuff, and I go over there, and I'm, this is a setup, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be fun. And so I go over there. I was like, I look at him, and I walk I walk on the passenger side, they're on the driver's side, right? I walk on the passenger side, put my bag in there, and I walk over the other side. There are a bunch of people talking and stuff, and I go, "Oh, dude," I'm kind of loudly go, "Thank God you put this umbrella up in front of my van, so I don't have to look at that friggin' water over there." I started laughing, and the guy's like, "You weren't here." I was like, "Man, I'm just kidding. Don't worry about it." He's like, "Oh, okay." And it's like, so I see from your flags and stuff that you're interested in the truth. Yeah. I was like, okay, so I came over to give it to you. And I started talking to him. I was like, "Well, first of all, I'm the only prophet alive in North America. The rest are false prophets." And so I'm like, "You want to know the meaning of your hidden flag?" And they're like, "What?" I was like, "No, no, you put up all these flags. You want to know you're interested in the truth, and so, you know, I'm here. That's my position. I gotta, tell everyone the truth." So I start going into the meaning of the flag, a 64-year time loop and stuff like that. And then he's like, "Who are you?" I tell him, and I'm like, "Well, I'm an accountant. I just, He's like, w- he's like, "Oh," he's like, "Ever heard of some Ivy League tiny university, which I hadn't heard of. I can't remember the name of it." And he said, that's where I went to school for accounting." I was like, "Oh, okay." He's like, "Where did you go to school for accounting?" I was like, "University of North Carolina." And I was like, then I go into the EGOT We Trust and stuff like that. And I said, "Oh, I get people out of death and taxes." So like, "Do you do that?" "I'm an accountant." He's like, "Well, I didn't finish accounting school." I was like, "Oh, okay." And he's got this and the guy sort of just listens and gives up after a minute, and, the guy next to him goes, "Oh, you're a prophet?" And this is the point I wanna get to. I'm just setting the stage for some useful information that we can all use. Uh, and he looks at me, "Oh, you're a prophet, huh?" Yeah." I was like he said, "Okay, what am I supposed to do for God? You're a prophet." I was like, "Well, see, that's not that like, we're not supposed to get the answer." He's like, "See, you're not." I was like, "Listen, buddy, if you ask a question of a prophet, then you listen to the answer, then you could decide if you're going to deny it or not." He goes, "Blah, blah, 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 blah." I was like, and he gets done with that, and I was like, "Well, the answer to your question is, you have to you need to form a one-on-one relationship with God." You know what I'm saying? Like, the prophet's not here to tell you what you should be doing because we have free will. You follow me? And so you have free will, but you can ask me questions about the truth that we all share, not like what you should do. Because even Jesus had to cry out to the Father. He had to pray to the Father, "What should I do?" And all that stuff. You see what I'm saying? No one's even Jesus didn't get around that. So don't ask me for you to get around what we all have to do. So don't try that. I said because no one gets to the Father except through the Son. He don't have nothing else to say after that. And anyway, my girl had walked up to have her smoke and stuff, and then she comes back and she's like, I was like, "Oh, hey, I gotta go. See you." And, so I go hang out with her and, put her in her car and stuff. I come back, uh, later, and she's like, 5 guys have hit on me since, I was like, "Great." And, anyway, I come back and get in my car, then they've really drawn a crowd, actually, this tune, and it's like, and I just basically walk in front of all of them, and they're like, they don't want me doing it. And I was like, "Hey guys, I'm gonna go. I just if you have any thoughts or questions or anything before I go, I'm just required to, answer any questions if you want to know the truth." They're like, guys, like, no. He said, "But thanks for the enlightenment." I was like, "No problem." And I get in my car and I'm getting ready to go, and my door like won't close with out getting like 3 flags caught at my door, and I start backing up. He's like, "Hold on." He's like, I open my door and gets his flags out of my, and they're blowing all I can't even see out my windows, you know what I mean? They're giant flags. It was so purposeful, you know what I mean? That it was so it was just hilarious. Anyway, uh, but just setting the scene and stuff like that so that this guy's question was actually, appropriate. You know what I mean? And I've been asked that question by basically anyone that has a sort of response to what I have to say, other than "nuh-uh," almost all the time, is what this individual says. "Oh, you're a prophet," and they say, "What should I?" You see, to say, "What about?" It's their individual question. Do I know something secret about them? And the other reason I want to bring this up is because I'm sure I've watched a lot of musicians on YouTube and stuff like that, on YouTube, and I've noticed, because their powers come from the jinn. They have these demons in the ether and that help them do things, and so that's how a magician does their stuff, right? Like, you know, anything that happens for me miraculously, God decides, "Oh, okay, well, I'll do that, and for them, any of these little trivial, not helpful at all, you know, things that they do, little miracle magic trick things are they're jinn and demon based, right? That's all they are. So this is what many people are trained for, right? Like, I need to know about me, answer my question. And when you see people being delivered from demons and stuff like that, it's like questions about them individually and stuff like that. There's never any overall truth and prophetic things because you're talking to a demon. Like the demon in this one is talking to the demon in that one over there, or just reading your mind. Now, mind is different than thoughts, right? Thoughts are the things being sent into us from elsewhere, right? From the moon, from hell. Thoughts are coming from the devil and from God, right? They're coming from the sun, from heaven. Okay. So, but mind is something else. Like that's sort of our repository for things that are true and false, things from our memory, right? Things that we have had come in, experiences, thoughts, things people have said to us, just a lot of stuff, right? That's mind. That's in there, right? Whereas, and that's why I have a universal mind now. So I know without having to ask, like you don't have to ask, oh, like Mike, I'm saying where I am. Oh, I was down on the north side of the intercoastal. I mean, a north jetty there, at a Cobus, and he just go, oh, I know where that is, and the image appears in his mind, right? Oh yeah, okay, that's mine. Like I'm accessing that mind, and pow, he had it. If you haven't been there, right, the rest of you are like, oh, that's not in my mind. For me, the universal mind is I can access, the knowledge of the things that are hidden that was known by God and the other realized perfect ones or whatever name you want to call them, a prophets, whatever. My mind isn't separate from God's or Jesus's. My mind isn't separate. It's the universal mind. I have access to all that. Is what you know enlightenment is ultimately. The veils are removed between you and God. That's all. So you're not one with the jinn or the demon or anything like that, the devil or anything into you. That shadow is gone, and then the universal mind of God comes in, and that's your connection. Okay, so other prophets. Why do I say I'm the only prophet? Because if you watch other prophets, they're like, whoa, because if you know how the jinn and the demon work, they are telling things that are unknown, but they're plucking it from that individual's mind. You see what I'm saying? Because they're mind readers. They're not like plucking it from God's mind, like, hey, this is the time loop. This is they have none of that. Zero, right? Zero of that information. They don't have it. And so that's what I wanted to talk about other people, how they call themselves prophets and where they get their information. You can watch it in real time, you know. Uh, they just pluck it out of the mind. It's not the individual's thought there being said, but it's the mind. Alan, do you think those people with powers to do magic are the subtle? Yeah. No. Well, it's some of both, isn't it? It's really doesn't matter, right? Because I know you read Mayor Baba and you're like, oh, there's 7,000 humans and da da da. Yeah, but there are 330 million of these fallen angels, and they're all in like the 1 through 3 planes, right? Right? Pretty much, except for the higher ones. Like we need an adversary in every single level of our spiritual enlightenment. So there's always where we are on the planes, right? There there's always ones to match it around us, which, we battle through and learn from, and then we go up, right? And, then there's this whole other plane of, you know, information and individuals, and they're running that to give us, our experience, right, in this life that we have to move forward, and that, you handle that well, and now, automatically, by making it through that spiritual plane, it's already set up, it's already laid down by God advances you spiritually. Okay, you with me? All right. So there's always them at every level. And so, they're mostly down in the subtle realms, because almost no one is above that anyway, right? So that's where mostly they are. But they're, whatever their powers are, they're using the jinn and demons and stuff, like, to access that information of mind, just of not the universal mind, not God's mind. They can never, Mayor Mama says, they can never see God. They can't. That's, of the 7,000 that you win the game, you see God, as I have, and they can never do that. Never. And that's the only, so, you know, when Mama's like, "Oh, you gotta get, God realize, Christ conscious, whatever," right? Like, that's that achievement, and they can't achieve it. And so, you know let's go into, so I had that interaction. Then last night I had another interaction. I'm gonna kind of progress through what I'm talking about by talking about my interactions with my dad, and then kind of like get into what we're talking about and more into that question and stuff like that. Yeah, Dee Dee, yeah, they are spiritually advanced, just on the other side. That's a good way to say it, actually. That's a good way. We need a foil. We need an adversary. You know what I mean? We need someone to play a role here to help us move forward. That's why I say, uh, now regularly, especially in front of Christians, I go, "Who is the highest servant of God besides Jesus Christ? Who's the highest servant of God?" I ask them. I know the answer. Does anyone know the answer? I think I've said it, but I think I've said it a bunch, but you might get the answer right. They never do. I've never heard anyone. Correct. DD's correct. Correct, correct, correct. Boom, boom, boom. Exactly. That's who it is, because we need, you and I, right? Each individual drop of the ocean needs an adversary to overcome, right? That's exactly it. So they, all the angels on the third plane. No, no, no. There has to be, a foil for us on every plane, and a group, right? The Truman Show has to be played out on every plane, right? Yes. And so you interact with different characters mainly when you hit other planes. You don't, you interact with all the other ones on every plane, but you get access to the, an adversary that acts upon, what you're up to on a certain plane. Why? To help move you forward. And that, all of that understanding is, oh, okay, so that they work for the devil, so they're doing a sacred duty. And that's why I was offered the position once I hit the seventh plane by the devil, and, like, here's an 18-year-old girl, all you gotta do is have sex with her, and I take the devil's spot. I'm like, you, what the, thank you, in the bubble. Boop. Are you, no, but Mir Baba is very clear, like, Indra serves for a certain amount of time at a certain level, and then is replaced, by some idiot moving up the plays, basically. So, and they receive that, consciousness or whatever. Satan, right? Satan. That's right. Sat means knowledge, right? Sat. It's a Sanskrit word, means knowledge. Yeah, you gotta stay to do that. Hard pass. Bingo. Bingo. Oh, I got a bingo. big, 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 big ol'. Correct. So, uh, another interaction this week, which I talk about current interactions because as I advance, the knowledge in the dome, because I'm the advancer of it, right? I'm the first one break a trail. Uh, my interactions during my recent week are useful to talk about, the ones that are useful because it's me breaking a trail and what meaning it has. So because my goal is what? I don't want to break trail and have nobody behind me. You know what I mean? I want to break trail and move everyone who cares enough, like you all, up right behind me as fast as I can with the knowledge. Like, move up. I'm still breaking trail. Which y'all are doing. So if I talk about current events and break it down to the spiritual principles underlying, that as you move forward in your interactions in the coming week or so, you'll have an understanding of why it's happening and who is doing it to you. You see? Uh, you have to stay for a long time. I think 4 cycles, 26,000 years. I think maybe a cycle is about 12,000 years. I don't know. But it's just such a long time. I mean, Perfect Master's here for a cycle, uh, which there's Perlaya and Maha Perlaya, right? There's like uh I thank you. I would say Pralaya is an age and Mahapralaya is a cycle, right? So, the earth becomes the moon and then a new cycle will begin, right? At some point. I don't know how some of this is so much time, that it really doesn't relate to our situation, right? Because this is this week I'm talking about right now. And if your mind is in this just absolute higher number game only, which it should be some, then you miss your day to day. You see what I'm saying? You could leave the body, which is not my goal at all. And it's not their goal. Their goal and my goal is you advance all the way. Not that you know, now Al is super crazy intelligent guy, so he's going to be able to handle a lot of this. And some others, uh, the opposite end of the spectrum. Not that my wife's not intelligent, but she has an intelligent response to what's going on, and hers is she never wants to hear one single word about what I talk about. Not even right now. Nothing what I talk about. She doesn't. She overhears it and stuff sometimes, but her, in a way, correct uh what what's the word I'm looking for? Response. The correct response to her situation is that's just a lose and that's not real. She just calls God's name. Only God is real. So she's just like, I don't want to hear about that crap. She doesn't. But she does it properly by saying, because if you go to Mayor Mama's ashram, whatever, in the east or the west, the women stay separately or they're literally behind a wall, right? They are. Uh, and she takes that for real, you know what I'm saying? And she's like, she puts up a wall, like, there's just God in here, go away, even to me. So, but that's the correct response, sh even more lately, she's like, "Look what I found." You know what I mean? She's always showing me what she knows I know, and she's like, "Look here," like a 64-year thing or this or that, She's always, "Look." Anyway, but, there's sort of both ends of the spectrum of a response, but inwardly, your response always is just saying God's name and knowing, this game, which is a game isn't really I mean, it's a real game, but God is making this game. So it's like, well, behind the game, that's the reality. And so she has a point there, you see? And that's why Baba brings it up that way. That's why he keeps his pilgrimage locations that way and so on. So So, right? Yeah, no, Dee Dee's actually right. It's really a difficult thing, to be around me it's so difficult. Like, oh man, my abstinence from marijuana has its side effects. I'm more vocal, shall we say. Like, I'm at the drum circle, I'm like, they end something, I'm like, "That sucked." I'm not angry, I'm like, "You improve." Like, practice, you have to practice, like, because they were just playing crappy for so long. Ba, 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 ba. Like, they just go too fast and just pound the crap out of it too fast, it's like, and so, what the drum circle thing is, the dudes that can't dance are always pounding out some, repetitive thing which has no funkiness to it or anything, so it's not danceable or whatever. And so it's like, okay, well, we're gonna listen and look at the pretty water and the sunset. Okay, you know what I mean? It's all night like that. Uh, Same here. No, that's why I bring this up, Mike. The same here. Yeah, that's why I bring it up. That's why I bring it up. Anyway, so I'm like, I'm going around. You only got to practice in between. What are you doing? Yes, that's true. That you open up and create more and so on with not using marijuana. That's true. But I was on my 7 years after, it takes 7 years. Once you're the one of the 7,000 plus one. If you're that one, it's you have to go through a 7 year rebirth, I guess, sort of where you hit the seventh place. Almost impossible to describe. It's an evolution that like that's why that's why I recommended this book, right? And it's really heavily about that process for Baba in this and what he had to go through is mentioned. It's mentioned other places, of course, at Lord Mayor and so on. But that process is an inward journey, like when Mayor Baba, I read it again recently, like what happened to him as a child. He was walking home from school one day, uh, grade school, he's getting near the end of Catholic school, and he knew about the saint who was attracted to her, and she had been there waiting for him, and she kissed him on the forehead, and he stood there and listened to her, and then he went home, and that night he basically left the body for 9 months, and he's just you know just a very sweet and gregarious and attractive, interesting, and so on, young boy, young man or boy or whatever. He was very outgoing, and a lot of people liked him and stuff. And then this happened, and then basically he became crazy. Like he's a madman. That's what happened, and so for 9 months, he basically laid there and well, for 4 days he laid there with his eyes open, and nobody could get his attention. He was still breathing, and they were called every doctor and tried everything, and then he sort of came back a little bit, but then he basically wasn't there for like 9 months or something like that, and he just refused food and water. It's like this they were just like nothing made sense, and then eventually he come back into the body slowly, and began this 7 year journey of he smashing his forehead for every day for 7 years against a stone or concrete floor or something like that, and then wearing a piece of fabric around his head so nobody could see the wound, because every time the avatar comes, they have a star on their head here implanted into their uh, uh, skin, which if you shine a light this way, you can see a star on my forehead. I've done that before. It's funny. This young lady was, around helping my work and stuff for, you know, a few years ago, and she read that, and she brought it to me. I was walked in, and I hadn't read that about Baba, and I walked in and like, took my phone into a mirror and shined a light here, and the star appeared on my head. I was like, "Come here." She's looking. I was like, "I am oh, what the," you know? Uh, that's what anyway, it's kinda I'm just filling in on that info, you know? Uh, so he was basically for after that happened, a happy madman. So that was really the process of evolution. So you have a point, Mike, that marijuana does that, but that was I was in that 7-year part of that. You know what I mean? And I'm still out here helping everyone 7 days a week. So how's that evolution? And you know what I mean? So, but that would allow me to come back in and just gestate or whatever, but that's not what I'm doing anymore. I've gestated, you know, and so I don't need that further. His first advent with Ganesh, yeah, that's true. The elephant had it, yeah, yeah. That's yeah, yes. And so now we got up to there. The other thing that I want to talk about that happened to me this week is sort of a part of that too. Last night, there's a very nice woman, sort of near my ages or whatever, a little bit younger, and she has a husband and he plays drums, and but she dances some, and she's just nice, and she's like hi or whatever, it's not. She's just nice, not like a problem, She got a man and great. She's just cordial and nice, and because I sometimes enter where she is and we're dancing next to her. She's like, hi or what, yeah, hi, and but last night she come up to me, says she had questions actually. She's like, and I don't want to get to her whole conversation, but I was like, time starts this time and stuff like that. And she was like, she says to me, yeah, it's really funny you should say that because when I'm growing up, I told my mom this, and she's like, oh, that's right. She told me her papers born in 69, 1969. So she's like, "It's so interesting what you say," because she remembers telling her mom and everyone we went, she's like, "No, I didn't come in that way." She said, "I came in through the top of my head." She said, "I didn't come in through my mom." She's like, I came in through the top of my head." That's what she'd tell her mom and stuff. And then I told her all this, what's going on. She's like, for the first time, everything from her youth to now actually, melded together and makes sense. So she was like, "Oh, okay." But I'm not saying she's not one of them, right? Because what happens every time where I get to a certain spot, like one of them comes up to me, has like a question or something, and wants to hear exactly where I am and answer the question every detail. You know what I'm saying? They're kind of, they're the watchers. They're like a teacher, here you go. Here you go, Johnny. Take your test, fill out your blanks, and we'll see how you do. you know? And that's what they do. But also, if I really do know that, then it affects them too, which is a member of the hive. And she's talking about her husband too. Like, my husband actually, like his memory is you know, she's like, "That's funny," and she relates other things, and she's like, "My husband remembers this, and he says he's here to protect me and stuff like that and be my guardian." I was like, "He's your guardian angel." She's like, "That's right. That's what he says." Like he does. I was like, "You need to remember, ask him how many lifetimes he remembers." I said also too, because I'm talking to a woman. I said, "You need to actually explain to him that I wasn't. We were having a spiritual conversation of what it was about. Because he is your guardian angel, and he needs to know what we spoke about. Not that I'm talking to you in some way that's not the right way. You need to speak to him. He's right in front of us, right there, playing the drum. But I was like, you need to speak to him about this. He is your guy. You need to explain this to him. Yeah, I said, if you want to know from him, like ask him how many lifetimes he remembers, you know? I said, because it's a difficult assignment, you know, because it's hard to be in this body in this lifetime. If you remember the other ones, you can't, you know, it's very hard to, it's, that's who they are. So, but if you can picture that, like remembering all these lifetimes, Bear Mama said it's not a spiritual advantage to remember previous lifetimes. So, and that's a fact because you'd be one of them. And what can't they do? They can't see God. That's their only thing to do is to see God. So the 660 million angels, right? Angels, they don't have free will. Their thoughts, the soil, they're 100% connected to them. And that's it. They just, that's what they do, right? They don't have free will. And then they're given an order, oh, you know, kill this baby or, you know, whatever someone's karma has earned them from previous lifetimes and stuff. And they just like, I can't do that, which God on purpose gives them an order they can't do because they grow a heart, right? In the process of all that, it's like the bicameral mind. They keep getting set thoughts and stuff, and they keep acting and stuff. But at one time, right, who you are isn't your mind and your thoughts. That's just your memory and stuff. It's your heart, right? Like how you feel, what you react, and at some point they're given an order. They just for some reason they can't do it. You know, that's the big. That's the initiation of them evolving, right, into another form, a fallen angel, right? They think they know better than God. Oops. Who could know better than God? Not me, not you, not no one. Anyway, so, but you know, it doesn't make sense to him. So that I can't do that. Then it's like you fell into the dome, you go, pow, right? Take a body and you know, they're playing for X number of lifetimes. So whenever I'm, you know, whenever I'm around them, I'm always praying for them, right? May or your wings and feathers, you know, because they read my mind. I mean, they can read my clear prayer, or that's a thought. That's not reading my mind. I'm praying. They can hear my prayer. You see, that's different than reading my mind. They can't hear my prayer. So I pray for them in front of them. And when I'm around them, I'm praying for them. Uh, So to earn their feathers and wings, because I know where they are. They have to get up the 33 levels and get up, and then what? Memory wipe, and they become one of the 7,000. So if they don't get us up to here and get us out, they can't go up. You see, no empty slot comes up in the 7,000. So they have to perform their job, Perry, right? Right? A Perry, fairy, angel. They have to perform their role, or they don't make a space for themselves. You see? So they take that very seriously because otherwise they kinda you know how it feels like cows, like, "I don't wanna come back another day." Well, neither do they, but they have to until, you know, they reach the place where it's like memory wipe, now you gotta play. That's what it is. Let's see what we're saying, sorry. Yeah, Born in '69. Yeah, that was her those were her words for her experience. I come in through the top of my head. I told him, my mom and everything. I was like, "You were right, and this is why." And she just, you know, became sanguine, became peaceful, more peaceful in that way. She's already a very peaceful person, but you know, I could see she found some peace in her heart where there was a peace that was just not, you know, it made sense in her experience, but it's not. Nobody could explain it to her. So but then it made sense and it made her more peaceful and more understanding, which if you're not still questioning something from this plane, that moves you up, right? You see? You're not stuck. You could move, you could advance. Jay, Hotel California. We haven't had that spirit here since 1969. No. I had what? Jay gets a oh, Jay gets 100 on his paper. Boom. Here's your paper back. Everybody give a little space. I mean, the Eagles. I say the Beatles sing it, but he found the Eagles. That's right. Everything is this. This is all there is. There isn't anything else going on. Everything else going on is fake. Everything. Nice one. Seriously. Uh, I mean, yo, good call. Look who's listening, right? Who's getting thoughts from where? Ha ha ha. I love to see it happen in real time, man. I'm sure you do too. Nice. Right? That's the Holy Spirit is sending us thoughts. Like it's coming from God. And it's like, oh, you hear this song, oh. It's a beautiful thing. J Baba, Gene. Uh I push her spiritually forward. Exactly. That is our job. You see what I'm saying? Our advancement makes a space for them and they know it. And then they can advance. That's it. You got it. No, but it's true. That was a beautiful one. Yeah. Way to break some trail. I love when somebody's who got up there and broke some trail up there? It wasn't me. Sweet. Revolution on SLS. Yeah, no, this thing, right? Good. No, but you gotta see it. It becomes so clear, you know? You go through the gross world as Baron Obama describes it, everything is like food or water and this, and basically, you're a coincidence here. So hey, what they told me at school is real and blah blah, bunch of nothing. And then you're like, wait a minute, 33, you start to see the signs and symbols, and it's like, wait a second, what's going on here? That's a subtle thing, like the stuff that's invisible but still running things here, that's like the power behind everything. Where is this power coming from? The jinn and the demon, right? The devil. You can't see him. You can't go to BlackRock. You can't see the devil's kingdom. You can't see it's hidden, right? That's what they call subtle. Like you can't see it. Can't see it until you can, and then you're like, it's everywhere. You're like, you see the shadow, right? You're like, ah, and then you're like, wait, it's all shadow. And then you're like, then you get to the mental realm where you start to see, wait a second, this is leading to something else. Not that they're just in power and this is unfair, right? But there's a purpose and they have a purpose for God. And that's the mental realm where you hear the truth, like I distribute the truth, that removes their power and makes them so you see, oh, they were trying to mess me up. They're moving me forward. They have to mess me up. So I stumble and fall. And then I get up and I'm like, why did I stumble and fall? What was going on? You see, that's their job to make us stumble and fall. Then we get up and then you see the truth. Then you keep doing that, and then you advance, right? And the truth that we all share, right? Not an individualized truth. What do I do for God? No, no. The truth that we all share, this situation, as I'm calling it, our situation, right? That's what is, at play here. And once you know all the details of that, then you hit the mental plays and the subtle plays of that power doesn't have any power anymore. You don't want it. You're like, wait a second, to get all that crap that you want, the house and the money and the girls and guys, like all the things you said were cool in the gross world, that power of control, all that stuff is coming from the devil and stuff like that. You're like, uh, thanks for the banquet. No thanks, and that's what gets you past it is the truth. Kel, I remember when I was a kid driving with my dad in his car and a song came out, Summer of '69. Thinking, I never had a summer of '69. Not so fair. Isn't it funny, right? The summer of love is like, it didn't happen. It happened did it happen? Like, did it happen? Isn't that how many people we've run into that said, "Oh man, Woodstock and stuff, blah, blah, blah," you know, all implanted, It's kinda amazing when you think about that level. If you don't respect the power of God, because it's like it's inconceivable, it's unfathomable. It's like, "What?" It but once you see it, everything links together. You're like, "Oh, man, now I see God everywhere." That's the highest point before the seventh plane. literally see God everywhere. You're like, oh, God's running this whole, oh my God, you know, you see God runs everything. Literally see God everywhere. You're like, oh, this ain't the devil running. The devil works for you. Oh, so God's running everything. You see God everywhere. Like, okay, you are running everything. So let me just stick to get me out of here. Get me out of here. Who? Get me out of here, Jesus Christ. Sorry. Deja vu, right? Isn't that interesting? Hey, you watch this, right? I don't say people are super smart very often, do I? All of you are crazy intelligent. Let me get that point across right now, obviously. Am I right? Come on, each one of you. It doesn't hurt for me to say that. It helps probably, but obviously, if you're sitting here understanding what I'm saying, you're one of the so freaking few. It's unreal. Am I right? Come on. Who's high up the mental planes that can absorb this and then take it to their actions on a daily? Like, so few. Come on, right? But deja vu, well, let's think of it. That's what kind of the other team is experiencing all the time. Okay. It's funny that came up in this conversation in a way with this woman last night. She's like, I kind of remember certain, things from before, I think, but that's not what it is. You don't have a memory. You have like a feeling, which is who we are is never erased. Who we are is erased. Our memories are erased, right? But who we are, our consciousness is never erased by God. Not never, unless you do fourth plane evil, you know what I mean? Then you could go back to stone. But no, no, no. If you have someone watching over you like me, you won't go back because you'll hear the truth and you won't do what you maybe would have done because the knowledge gets you past, right? But deja vu is sort of how do you, what's a good way to put this? What did I tell her? It's a sort of like a shadow of who we were. You see what I'm saying? Because we remembered all our lifetimes and stuff. So there is, and it went on for so long. You see what I'm saying? Even if God wiped our memory, that's who we are. We're used to, experiencing all these other lifetimes of the memory of them at once. You see, that was our recent always. And so that's sort of a bleeding over of that previous consciousness, which we shared in the hive, is what a deja vu is. It's a bleeding over of, because when you see it in like Matrix, they had a deja vu with revolutions, right? There's a scene where that young girl what's her name? Shakti, which refers to you have to look up her name. Shanti maybe. It's a reference to the burning. Women burn themselves in India rarely as a story. And then what? Like if something happens, a woman doesn't have any cultural solutions sometimes if it's extreme to except for self-immolation. They burn themselves alive. And so that character is named after that act in the Matrix. That child is named after the action that she took to be in that situation. You see what I'm saying? And there's this one scene where she's lying on the sidewalk and a black cat walks by her, and the whole thing resets across the scene. Brand new. And she had her eyes closed during the time the cat walks by, and everything brand new. Deja vu. You see, so it's sort of an explanation that that's our situation is this, you know, revolution. Do it again. So that's a really good question. It is, Alan, and that's what it is. They experience deja vu sort of like constantly, you follow? And we just experience this sort of like an impression of what it used to be like for us, which helps us give a real an understanding of our past, which helps move us forward. You see, if we understand what we were in the past, then it's easier to move forward. We're not looking backwards, we're looking forwards to God. And so this, I want to be clear, no one has ever said this, but I want to say this, okay? In the Mir Baba said, everyone is looking behind them and they don't see me. They're not looking in front of them. If they just turn their head, they'd see God and they head towards me. What does that mean? That means this: everyone else is looking backwards to their past, right? They're looking to their past. I remember this, I remember that, da, 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 da. And so they're not in their present, are they? No, they're looking backwards. They're not looking to God. They're looking at their previous experiences. So the truth that I set people free. The truth, what? Because they can turn their head, right? They're not looking at their past. Who cares about my past, right? Where is God? You look forward. You see what I'm saying? And that's their images of this in in Bob's book. What's the name of that? Infinite Intelligence has a diagram of that and so on. Like you're not looking at God, you're looking behind, but that relates to time and the past and present and future. You see what I'm saying? You should be looking towards God as your only future. That's the meaning of that. No one has ever revealed that. I'm doing that the first time today. Uh, let's get through this. That was a great question, wasn't it? I'm telling you, the best question is to get the answer because the Holy Spirit drops in and I'm like, here's the answer. I actually had questions about deja vu until that question was asked of me right now. And it's great to know fully, right? I don't, God speaks through me at that time when the proper question is asked by the proper servant of God. The answer comes forward because I'm just a, what? I'm under that power. I'm just here. I am. So, but let's go through. Great question, TD. To Bear Baba. Yeah, Bear Baba had a stand that was like it's yep, all implanted. That's right, TD. Like vendor's booth, like Bear Baba was watching. So true, right? But that's that's a prior age, right? That's a prior age. That's right. Mike, life in a body. Get in a chopper. Come with me if you want to live. Jesus Christ, says Terminator. I'm glad, I'm glad someone finally showed up on the beach in the Cobas because their music has begun to hurt my ears bad last night. Then Mike finally showed up. Oh, I've been waiting for somebody. I've been sitting on that beach for a decade waiting for somebody, and there he is. Uh, Shanti's. Yeah, I think it's Shanti or Shakti or Shanti. I can't. It's not, but it's one of those two. And that's the. I can look it up right now, but that's the process of, you know, it's a cultural implanted thing that a woman who has no way out, burns herself, and that's it. That's a cultural thing, and so they get tossed to the lake of fire because that's who they are. And I'm going home. I've had enough of this place. That's it. Alan, right? Thank you. It's like experiencing the loop in real time, yes, but not the whole time. You know what I'm saying? Like, God has to give you like this little bit of information to help you like move forward. Like, if you had an experience deja vu, you couldn't ask me the question, right? Because you'd be like, you know, you never had like someone who's blind. What is seeing things like? you know? You would never properly explain that. But if you experience deja vu, then you go, "What is that?" You know what I mean? And so that's a common thing. Like, there's no one that can say, "I don't know what you mean by deja vu," right? Everyone knows. So exactly. So it's ubiquitous, right? Everyone experiences that at every level. They do, we do. They just experience it nonstop, and we don't. We are, briefly like, what the that's and it is this thing that, uh, you know, as I explained it now, you're just like, oh, okay, that's what they do. Okay. The genius waste of your time out here. Look who's getting over everything over there, TD. uh, Presence is a present from God. Yes, right? Presents, Perry's, everything's right. Yeah, so powerful. Look forward. No, God, something. Isn't that it's because that one has such clarity. You see what I'm saying? You could always think about that at a time when anything is going on. At any time when anybody's discussing anything in front of you, you're not in the you're in the present, but you're always looking forward. Like, what does this individual interacting with me have to do? Because they're sort of like blocking my view here, and then you get over it, you back to watching God. Like you don't have any interest in the present so much, except for we have to handle it properly always. And the past, who cares? Like that's like Mayor Mama said, everything that happened had to have happened. It's like true. Didi, yes, I love these questions. Right? Always had, but ever ask. You should ever ask. I should ever be asked. Al is a great question asker, isn't he? Yes. Uh, okay. So I want to bring up those two experiences this week and kind of how they related together. And see, this is just my week, of, oh, this is who I interacted with. This is what I did. I'm not like outside of where I live that much, actually. I hardly do anything. I go to the beach like on a daily basis if the weather's good, get some exercise, a swim if possible, like that. I want to get out, see the ocean of God, and, you know, uh, and then get back. Whoever shows up on my path, now every woman at every age in a bikini now shows up wherever I'm walking and everywhere. It's like, hey, okay, ladies, we're good. Tell them, like, I go to the drum circle and they come up to me. This one, oh my god, this is funny. Uh, she, she sells seashells by the seashore. This one is like, what's that? It's not the Freemasons. It's the woman side of it. I can't. The name's not coming to me right now, but she tells me I'm one of them. I was like, the first time I meet her, and she's got a really pretty. There she's like 10 years younger than me. And she's got a very, very gorgeous girlfriend, and they're interested in me, and I'm like, what a freaking setup. And she tells me she's one of them. Easter Star, thank you, Dee Dee. Easter Star, Easter Star, Easter Star. Thank you. She's like, I'm Easter Star, and she smells like a distillery. Uh, and she's sad inside. I can feel it. And every time the ladies come up to me that are given a mission of me at the drum circle and stuff, I'm like, hey, it's nice to meet you. What's your name and stuff? Like, great. I said, listen, I know you're under orders, but listen, I know who I am and you know who you are. I say, you have the night off. In other words, you came to me, you couldn't do anything because I found out who you are and stuff like that. I'm looking right at him. And I say, and I give you the night off, right? You're not working tonight. Go dance or do whatever you want. You're not going to get me. And so you have the night off. That's what I tell them. You have the night off every time. It's right. Exactly. No, exactly. Uh, it's just I'm just saying that's what I'm interacting with. Just so you're aware. Let's see what I made. I put down some notes here in case I got through this to think. What time is it? Oh, see, I already got my hour in. Wow, that's amazing. Okay, so I got through the major things that I wanted to talk about. Let me double check my list here. Uh, oh, one other thing. If you don't accompany me on the pilgrimage to Bear Mama's tomb to South Carolina this year, you can't come with me to India the next year. Period. Period. Got it? Okay. I'm serious, okay? And is there anything else that you could do to move yourself forward faster than meeting with me and Mayor Baba? Obviously not. There's nothing that you could do. You can't, right? You have to be moved forward by someone perfect. So there is no possibility for you to move forward unless that's done. It's just, I'm telling you, if you're on a lower plane, you can keep connecting with me this way and so on. If physical uh distance or money or something like feels like that is blocking you, it might be. And so maybe you're meant to advance slower, or advance at a different time or so on. But, I went to India. The first time I went to India, I got an order to go to India. I had less than $100 in my bank account as no BS. And I made, got my plane after I got my plane ticket. I didn't have I did not have $100 when I was leaving. Okay. And all that crap that happened to me. I did have it. I didn't. So, and I went, you see, and I advanced. Like, that's just the way it is. I don't make the rules. I don't make the game. I don't do any of that stuff. I don't do any of that stuff. I'm just sitting here, oh, the rules are this or that. That's it, okay? But if you physically can't do it because of different reasons, like maybe that's true, maybe it's not true. You see what I'm saying? Because Erich once wrote this uh piece on a pilgrimage. It might be on their website or so, I don't know. But he wrote about a about having about taking a pilgrimage to Bear Baba. He wrote about it, and this is what Bear Baba said about it. He's like, You're saying that I'm God and you would come visit me, but I can't handle your life when you're away." No, you see what I'm saying? So the spiritual hack is the problems of your life, you give them over to God and you go take the pilgrimage, and because you did that, God fixes the problems that you're having while you're away miraculously. That is the spiritual hack I'm trying to let you have to help you advance, you see? And so those people that are willing to do it, hey, I'm being very clear about it because this is the way reality is. I don't make reality. I don't make the rules. I don't do any of that stuff. Okay. I'll simply share you with the people that need the truth that really want to advance. That's it. Say that again, please, John. Okay. I'm saying, Mike, if people don't sign up and get approved and come on the pilgrimage to go to South Carolina, North Myrtle Beach, ashram for Mayor Baba and meet me there this winter, then they won't be invited next winter to go to India to see Mayor Baba's tomb. You see, because you could drop the body over there and I can't help you. You see, and if you do it now, let's say you're a plane or two away from where you need to go, you can advance one here, and then next year you could go again up. You see what I'm saying? I can't do it all in one jump like that. I'll break your freaking. You'd be gone forever. You'd be like nobody's home. I can't do that. That's not my job. So I have to do it in stages. And anybody want to take the stages in advance, this is what they are. That's it. So, okay. All right. Yes, Cal. Yes, you did. We're up to, that's right. That's how many. DD. Yeah, Mike, I would be really, really clear about this with people because I'm not God. Quite simply. And so, and your goal, everyone's goal, each of our goal, our only purpose and reason for life is to advance and get, remove the veils, become one with God, not do this again. That's it. That's the only reason for life. All other reasons for life are fake. And I'm trying to get you there in the limited amount of time we have in the shortest time loop that exists. This is the shortest age, and we're right before the end. You know what I'm saying? We're racing to the finish line with everything we got, and we're almost dead, exhausted. We're trying not to fall on that track before we hit the tape. You know, I know that. So I'm trying to get you there. That's what that is, okay? Ocean of love, you will belong to him entirely as to watch over your loved ones. Yes, it's a good thing and dangerous if you do not mean it in your heart. That's right. And so that's why I come and watch over, because stuff happens, people almost die when they go there. They have health problems and stuff like that they come through, so you can't all do it at once. You can't do 7 plays at once. You die, you bear mama. Anyone, it just don't work like that. It can't, or else our journey would all be separate and different. It's not. It is not at all. You see, we're doing, slightly different things at different locations, but we're all performing upon the same spiritual game with all the rules and all the levels. It's all the same for everyone. Uh, okay, quick thing. You watching all the stuff happening? The largest hurricane to ever hit Mexico, wiped out Acapulco. You don't think Judgment Day's coming? It's the warm up. Yeah, you better Israel, right? The war in the Bible, Israel. Like we're in like the pregame warm up here. You see it, right? Okay. And that, if you haven't read Revelation in the New Testament, I recommend it because obviously I'm talking about that. So you should be like, wait, in Revelation it says this, how come blah blah blah? You should do that. Okay, that's it. That's everything. Those are my notes. That's what I had. Great questions this week. Everyone, I love. I'm going to be listening to that Eagle soon. Thank you, Jay. I'm there, like, oh yeah. I remember when I thought that song was cool as you know anything when that came out. It had the perfect beat. It had everything. You know what I mean? And it had that line in it, right, from 1969. Perfect. Okay. Right. No, it's true. Anyone else? Anything? I'm gonna jump off. You all have a great week, right? Hopefully we'll get Thursday at 7 on Liberty Aid thing. Hopefully Tim will get that rolling. We could get some people on there and get some face-to-face feedback and stuff. That's the best. I I would really like it if that would happen again. That's so good. George has been the only one on. It's been great. Yeah. Everyone, I gave you some, reading material of what we talked about in our last time together and this time. And I know people are doing that and studying hard and working hard on this. I know that. So I'm going to be getting organized about very organized and send out our emails. You're going to get ready to get in the Obama Center and make your time and what individual already has. And so we're going to be doing that. And we're going to be getting that organized. So there's going to be sort of like a cutoff, and not anybody there in the winter, basically. So you're just going to be there with God and your homies. So why would you go? I'm not going to be staying on site. They don't let me. I'll be off site. I'll visit with you some. And then also, if whatever happens with that guy's supply, I'm going to add a day to my itinerary, and whoever wants to will go check out that church's supply. It's like an hour away or something. So, all right. That's everything. Everyone, may God watch over you in the name of Jesus Christ, dear Mama. Okay. Thanks everyone for the feedback. Great questions. It's really, uh, I forget right now. It's a Methodist. No, Unity, something in Supply, North Carolina. Unity Methodist, maybe, is Supply, North Carolina. Dean Thomas Triplett is the guy's name. Unity Worship. Thank you, Dee Dee. Unity Worship. Uh, Unity Worship. Dean Thomas Triplett in Supply, North Carolina. So, okay. All right. Look them up. I mean, hey, we're all, we are, all of us here into research and like what's going on, feel free to like do a number on that guy or whatever, anything. Uh, Deacon Deed. Thank you, Dee Dee is on it. Okay. But I'm going to jump off. This is my time. And I'll see you another time. I may pop up during the week, and other things happen. We'll see. So keep an eye out. Okay. All right, Dee Dee. Thanks, everyone. Really, I'm the same prayer again. Let's close up and let's pray. You know what? let's say a prayer now together for each other, that we advance spiritually and come to God in the name of Jesus Christ, okay? Together, all right? Right now. Okay, let's do that in closing. I pray for your advancement spiritually, that you go to God in this lifetime in the name of Jesus Christ, okay? J Baba. Have a great week, everyone. That's right. Dee Dee's always word for word. Midwest is being held down, baby. A solid one. Okay, everyone, have a beautiful week, all right? J Bob.